bitches. I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and the drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and the drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and the drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
And a happy Thanksgiving to the Seminole family on a special Thanksgiving Eve episode. Really nothing special about it. Just wanted to get on here and chop it up. But welcome to everybody. 863 Seminole TV with your host POLK, a.k.a. AloMoney, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And boy, what a week has it been, hasn't it? From Clown Bow Swinney to what else we got? We got Clown Bo out here doing what he does best, the out of touch clown that he is. Shout out to the Clemson fans who showed up on my last video and hit that dislike button. Dislikes ain't nothing but likes, baby. But I think that was the most disliked video I ever put out, and quite frankly, I absolutely loved it. I think I got like 13 dislikes, all Clemson fans. So shout out to Clown Bo and his loyal followers. Shout out to all the Florida State family. Again, we had the whole Clown Bo fiasco going on all week. Also, it hasn't been confirmed, but Don Toluca seems to be all but outside, all but out the door. If you haven't seen already, he's pretty much removed everything Florida State related from his Twitter page. He was one of the names on that 12-man list that I gave you guys a few weeks back. And so far, we are 3 names down on that list with 9 more to go. So we'll see how that list continues to play out. But I told you guys, I said, take that list with a grain of salt. But we'll see. We'll see how that list continues to play out. We got UVA coming up this weekend. We got, I don't know, is it 2020 or if it's 1995, but we got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fighting this weekend. Yeah, I said it. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones are fighting this weekend. We got, again, I said UVA. Again, there's no point in really breaking down any UVA talk. I'll be interested to see what we do, but let's be real. I don't know if we're going to win or lose, but there's no point in breaking down the game. I don't even know what players we're putting out there at this point. 13 building in the chat. Hit that like button on your way in. Let's hit a roll call real quick. Tyler's in the building. Kusami Hayes, Frank Abel, Florida State Love, Irv Gotti, Tony Cash. And that's it so far, man. Shout out to everybody out there. Happy Thanksgiving. Quite frankly, my favorite holiday, because I'm a fat boy. So I love to eat. So my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Christmas is for the kids, because all I do is spend money for Christmas. Thanksgiving is my holiday. Kusami wants me to touch on Durden. Oh, we can touch on Durden, and we can touch on Tamarion Terry. I'm glad you brought Durden up, because I completely forgot about Durden. Durden's another one. He's out of there. Not only is he out of there, but he had some BS to say on his way out. Durden said, and I quote, that he was not going to miss the fans. Well, guess what, Durden? The fans aren't going to miss you. So if by chance you ever come across this, I just want to let you know the feeling's mutual. Not only will you not miss the fans won't miss you. You want to know why the fans aren't going to miss you, Corey Durden? Because all you did was talk. And where was your play on the field? Corey Durden played his best football alongside Marvin Wilson. When Marvin Wilson was injured, Corey Durden was non-existent. This year, with Marvin Wilson playing not up to par, Corey Durden was non-existent in most games you watched. Corey Durden is one of the players on this team, and we're going to touch on that too, because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I want to jump on with the fans about what's about to start what's already transpired, but we really got to touch on this. But back to the point. Corey Durden, the fans ain't going to miss you, bro. You're one of those players that always ran to social media, always had something to say, but your play didn't live up on the field. Always had something to say, but where were you making plays? Corey Durden can talk all the mess he wants if he's the best defensive tackle in football, but he's not. So that's what I got on Corey Durden. Todd Pope, Rashad, Sniper Gang, Bobby, what's going on? Now, back to what I want to jump on. I'm starting to get I'm gonna put it out here. I'm gonna put it out here. So yeah, Island Boy, he put that on Twitter. He put that on Twitter. But I'm about to hop on these fans because I'm starting to. I have Clemson fans that follow my channel, that subscribe to me. I have Miami fans. I have Florida fans. I have Notre Dame fans, Virginia fans, Louisville fans. I have a pretty solid subscriber base when it comes to college football. But there's one group of fans that I cannot stand. And I'm about to start chopping y'all. Start blocking y'all because I'm done with it. And this has nothing to do with the individual. But you Willie Taggart fans are about to start getting blocked. And this has nothing to do with Taggart, whether I like Taggart or not. It's just the fans that I'm tired of. Okay? Because these are the ones who claim, these are the hidden fans that they claim they're FSU fans, yet everything they come on here and talk about is negative. Let me tell you something. When I dropped that 12-man list, and you're starting to see that 12-man list come to fruition. And when I dropped that 12-man list and I said, these are the rumored guys that are going to be looking to opt out or transfer, I had people telling me that the list was a lie, that it was fake news, that they'll believe it when I see it. This is all just a play to make these kids look bad. Now the list is coming to fruition. And now the same people that were saying it was fake news is saying Mike Norvell's an asshole. He's doing these kids wrong. It's wrong what he's doing. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something what's popping right now. Mike Norvell is doing nothing different than what Nick Saban does every year in and year out. But you don't hear it because Nick Saban wins constantly, so it doesn't matter. Mike Norvell is getting rid of whatever you think of some of these players. He's cutting bait with them. Don't get on here and argue with me and tell me that these players suck. And then now that Mike Norvell's getting rid of them, oh, Mike Norvell is doing wrong. Or Mike Norvell, I'm not here to apologize or defend him, but in this particular instance, I'm 100%. I'm 100% on board with what's happening with Corey Durden, with Donta Lucas, who looks to be the next man out. Are they talented guys? Sure. I guess they're talented, sure. Have they helped us win one single solitary football game? Is Donta Lucas known more for pancake blocks, or is he known more for personal fouls and false starts? Answer the question. Is Corey Durden known more for sacks, or is he known more for the comments he puts on his Twitter page? You answer the question. That's my point. So don't come on here and tell me that Mike Norvell is doing dirty. Nick Saban does this every year, but you don't hear about Nick Saban cutting all his players or getting rid of the players that don't buy in, because Nick Saban also comes out and he wins on Saturdays. So that's just the way it is right now. So you Taggart fans, because that's who you are. You Taggart fans who you come on here and everything's negative. I had Taggart fans come on here telling me Florida State quit that game. Excuse me, that they forfeited that game, that FSU was scared. These are Seminole fans, mind you. These are Seminole fans saying, oh, FSU forfeited. FSU was scared to play. So-called Seminole fans that they're much fast. They are really quick to jump on FSU and say what they're doing wrong, but anytime something positive happens, they're awkwardly silent. They either don't show up on my page, or they're like, oh, that's cool. They got a lot to say when something bad happens, but they don't really have anything to say when we're doing something right. Yeah, you guys, y'all about to start cutting bait with y'all. I'm about to start cutting bait. I'll start about cutting bait with y'all. And I don't even want to touch on that. I touched on it enough on my last video about the Clemson thing. Look, if you don't know by now, the facts are the facts. And Clown Bo's making himself look like an ass. So what I more want to talk about today is we can look forward to Virginia, and we can really talk about what's going on this roster and how do we feel about these losses. Do I think every kid that has the potential to that we lose that's on that list is a bad kid? No. Would I like to keep some of them? Sure. And there's no guarantee that all of them are going to leave. As a matter of fact, 3 out of the 12 already came out and called the fact that their name was on the list a lie. Now we'll see how that plays out. That's Jaleel McRae, Brandon Gant, and Kavion Glenn have all disputed that. So we'll see going forward if those kids stick it out. But again, 3 names off that list have already opted out. That's James Blackman, which I completely understand. I hold no hard feelings towards James Blackman. Corey Durden, and Donta Lucas. Donta Lucas is all but out the door from everything I'm saying. It hasn't been confirmed by the school yet, from my belief, but Donta Lucas is all but out the door. So my point is, what do we want, Seminole fans? I got a lot of you guys come out here, man, and y'all tell me that the players are the problem. And you know what? I've been really big on the coaching. I think first and foremost, the coaching is the issue. That's been my stance. But I also think that it's time to get a change of guard inside the locker room and that some of these players need to go. We can't say the players are the problem. And then when they start cutting bait with these players, say, oh my God, the sky's falling. Man, the sky's already fell. What Norvell's trying to do now is get guys. Look, if you don't want to be here, I've consistently said it. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. It's obvious that these guys that are leaving haven't bought in, and you can see it on their play on the field. Has Donta Lucas bought in? How can he when he's still smacking guys upside the helmet in a North Carolina game that you're dominating at the time, and you get a personal foul that takes you out of touchdown range? Stupid penalties like that. So, maybe I'm just ranting. Let me get to the comments. When is the return of the Seminoles? 2022 remains to be seen. Things are quiet around Luke Altmaier front. No news is good news. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Things have died down after being pretty hot last week. A lot of stuff has died down. I'm sure Norvell has had plenty of conversation with Luke, so we'll definitely see what happens there. Island Boys 100% talk the truth. POLK. Can Norvell recruit? We'll have to see. Right now, that would be a knock on not only Norvell, but the entire staff right now. I don't think they're recruiting at a solid clip. I mean, I think they're going to finish around where they are now. I think they're at 22, barring a couple more decommits. It's going to depend on how they replace those commits. If I had to pick a couple decommits, Rashad, Luke Altmaier is the hot one. That's the hot rumor. But Amarion Cooper would be the next one. And it depends on how they replace those 2 prospects. But this first class ain't going to show that he can recruit. I'll be honest with you. They haven't been able to really lock down too much talent in Norvell's own backyard that he hasn't been able to solidify would lead me to say that he's not the greatest recruiter. But it's very hard to recruit when your team's looking the way it's looking on the football field. So we'll give it a few years and see how he picks this up. What list you made, POLK? So it wasn't a list I made, Sniper. It was a list that was released by Noles Game Day about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I put the list out there. And it was a 12-man list of 12-man list of these kids that were going to either transfer or opt out. Matter of fact, I'll read the list. I got the list here on my phone. Let me get it. Let me pull it up real quick. Right here. So that list consists of James Blackman. He's already opted out, or he's already going to transfer. Woodbay, Thompson, J-Rob, McCray, Durden, Deloach, Dent, Fuller, Gant, Lucas, and Cooper. So far, it looks like we know for a fact Black and Durden are gone. Lucas looks like the next one on the list. Now, Gant, Deloach, and McCray have vehemently denied that they are transferring or opting out. So that 12-man list is still out there. That 12-man list, we got 3 out of the 12 so far. There's 9 to go. We'll see who else is on this list. But so far, that list looks like it's holding weight. 100% not fake news. I feel you. Lucas just talk a lot. Mike cleaning house or per se raising the bar, so they're opting out on their own. Some of these kids are opting out on their own, but there's some talk that it's not on their own. There's some talk, including from a former player named Tamarion Terry, that what's going on in Tallahassee isn't that these kids are opting out on their own. Now, some of them, like Corey Durden, I think Corey Durden just quit on the team and he want to go. Corey Durden has been tweeting his ass off. Corey Durden quit on the team. Then he started talking about the FSU fans. Then he was like, oh, I want to go play in the ACC. Durden is just tweeting his ass off. I unfollowed him because I don't want to hear some fake ass dude talk about Florida State. But Tamarion Terry tweeted out there that what's going on at Florida State isn't right. Insinuating, a lot of people thought he was talking about the Clemson thing, which he wasn't. Tamarion Terry was insinuating that kids are getting kicked off the team, that Norvell's cleaning house, that kids aren't just leaving, but some of these kids are being forced out. Norvell's cleaning house, and it shows these players are selfish and not team players. If you ain't on board, you gotta get another scholar, another school. All players don't want to buy in should be dismissed. What up, One Tribe? What up, Peter Shields? Jose? Hold on. Kusami says, I just lost it. Where'd it go? NFL has Florida State is ranked. Did we drop again in the rankings? We may have dropped again. But I'm lost. I lost my spot. I thought there we go. Literally 75% of our roster are underclassmen. Not sure about anyone else, but I'm excited about and that's where I'm at with it, Kusami. Like, if you're gonna lose a Corey Durden who's been here 3-4 years, and what has he ever contributed? His play has not led to any wins. Goodbye. James Blackman, I wish you the best. You were a good kid and a good teammate and a damn good Seminole, but it's time for you to move on. Goodbye. Donta Lucas, a bonehead, a knucklehead. If you don't want to be here, if you don't want to buy into what's being sold, goodbye. The majority of this team, man, is very young. Majority of this team is 18, 19 years old. They're extremely young. They're still coachable. They're still able to be developed, and they're still impressionable. And what happens is, look at the leaders, the leaders. The only reason I'm calling them leaders is because they're upperclassmen. Look at the leaders in that locker room, the Corey Durdens and the Tamarion Terrys. Are those really the leaders that need to be? James Blackman would be a good leader, but his play on the field leaves a lot to be desired. The leaders in this locker room always are on Twitter, always are on social media, always are griping and complaining. Yet on the field, they drop passes. They miss tackles. I mean, what are we talking about? Let's let these young guys try to grow into some leadership roles. But get these older guys out of here. I think it's more on the players, POLK, because look at the results with 2 different staffs. We're still getting the same results. I feel the same way, Richard. I always go for FSU, Gator, Kane. It's a Florida thing to play each other. Happy Thanksgiving, John. I'm on that VSOP. All right, I feel you, Bobby. I hope Jennings commit back to Florida State. We'll see what's going on. Tyler thinks Tyrion is that. Are you asking or are you predicting it, that Tyler? Because I don't see it. I do not see it. Unless he wants to stay home and help turn this thing around, but he hasn't expressed any of that so far. From the interviews I've heard, he hasn't expressed that he, but we'll see because I don't see it. I don't see it. That'd be a big get if they can end it, but I don't see it. Norvell has to recruit players from right here out of Tallahassee. NCAA needs to open up visitation and let these recruits. The fan base needs to help also with recruiting. Trust me, our fan base hurting recruiting also by being net. Well, yeah, if you're on FSU Twitter, you'll know how terrible the fan base really is. They really are toxic as hell. Like me, I don't recruit. Excuse me, I don't tweet at kids. I don't tweet at players for that matter, unless I'm saying something positive. If I'm saying something positive, I'll at them in a tweet. I don't tweet these kids, but you'll see grown ass men tweet 18, 19-year-old kids and recruits at that matter, 16, 17-year-old recruits, and they say some crazy stuff to these kids, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why won't we want Cooper? I don't think he was that bad. I didn't say we didn't want him. He's just on the list. Didn't say we didn't want him. He's just one of the names rumored to be opting out or transferring. Didn't say we didn't want him. Cooper's out of the defensive tackles. I mean, I think Fabian Love has played well. I think Cooper's played pretty solid as well. Durden was ranked a top 10 interior defensive lineman in the nation coming into the season. 7 tackles. Exactly, Kusami. But you got the nerve to talk? As a matter of fact, FSU had 3 players ranked in the top 10 in interior defensive linemen coming back. Of course, Marvin, of course, Durden, and Cooper was another one. Look at that stat line. 7 tackles, 0.5 sacks, but you're a top 10 defensive lineman, and you got the nerve to be on Twitter talking? How about you get in the weight room? How about you get in the film room? Get on the practice field and do something. I should probably use that phrase, but you know what I mean, man. Come on. You got nerve to talk, and look at your stat line. Of course you won't go pro. You're going to go try to ride the SEC team's coattails. Opting out on their own was supposed to be raise your play or take the door. Clean house, I'm with it. We are the youngest team. Yeah, we are. We are the youngest team in college football. I'm predicting that Arnold ends up in the class. Man, Tyler, I don't see it. I don't know if you got some inside that I don't, but one of the things Terrion Arnold in the interview I heard him say, the big thing he was looking at is he wants to see the front 4. He wants to see that a defense can get pressure. As a safety, he feels like a defense that can get pressure on a quarterback makes his job easier. I don't think he sees that in our defense. I don't think he sees anything in our defense that he would probably like right now. Now, Terrion Arnold wants to sit here and he wants to say, you know what? I want to stay home in Tallahassee and I want to make this thing great. I'm 100% with that. He'll instantly turn into my favorite FSU player if he does that. But he hasn't really expressed that. And I think he's going to end up in Alabama. I think he's going to end up at Alabama. It could be Florida, but I think he's going to end up in Alabama. But I mean, look, this year alone, man, we got to question Norvell's recruiting. We absolutely have to, because this year alone, legacy commit Corey Collier, he's a Gator. Amari Harvey out of his own backyard in Tallahassee, Auburn Tiger. Brandon Jennings, legacy commit, goes to Michigan. Terrion Arnold, right back out of his own backyard again in Tallahassee. Pretty much at this point, he's not committed, but no one is picking Florida State in this. No one even thinks Florida State's really even in the running. I mean, man, like, it is what it is, you know? Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I would love to be proven wrong, though. I really would. They've already shown that. Pay attention. If you haven't been paying attention to the type of scholarships they're offering some 3 stars, and you know they're going after probably UCF. Now here's what we're gonna know. We're gonna see coming up. We're gonna not so much the recruiting prowess. I believe that will come. I think the logo will recruit itself once you start putting wins on the field. Honestly, I do. What you're gonna see though from this staff, you're gonna see who can scout on this staff. You're gonna see their scouting ability. Can they find gems? Can they find diamonds in the rough? That's what you're gonna see. Is there a 3-star out there that they just see something in? That's what we're going to start noticing. It's one thing to take a 3-star. It's another thing to take some guys and go. It may take a year or two. It may take a year or two of development, weight room, all that stuff. But now we're going to see the scouting aspect of this of this staff. That's where you got to stay tuned. What up, London? Sorry, what up? FSU made the ACC all fat. Well, we know this, Richard. I'm glad you said it and I didn't have to. The Norris was popping. What's good? Showing the love. What's up? We need the right pieces in our defense. I think we need the right man. Calling our defense. That's where I'm at with it. Football is very similar to chess, man. Football is very similar to chess. And what I mean by that is chess on a chessboard, man, you have all the pieces you need to be successful. I believe FSU defense has all the pieces it needs to be successful, and you can't really convince me otherwise. But me being a chess player, I can have 2 or 3 queens. Queen is your strongest piece on the board. Your king's your most important piece, but your queen's your strongest piece on the board. And I can have 2 or 3 queens on a chessboard, and it won't matter if I don't know what I'm doing with them, and the other guy knows what I'm doing. I believe Adam Fuller has the pieces that I'm not top 10 defense, maybe not, but the defense we're watching, giving up 1,000 yards and 2,000 yards and in 2 games or whatever the crazy stats it is, giving up 48 and 50 and 40, not even being competitive defensively in these games. Come on, man. I think Adam Fuller has the pieces. He just ain't a good chess player. He need to go play checkers. In the AAC, they play checkers. We need somebody that knows how to play chess and utilize these pieces. POLK, how's that 2-6 turkey cooking in the oven? First of all, Dennis, we don't put turkeys in the oven over here. We fry them joints. So we deep fry these turkeys. So you put your dry ass turkey in the oven, boy. We fry ours over here. Oh, there you go. Lenore's just got finished saying what I just said. We need that Liberty DC to come back to Norvell. We need something other than Adam Fuller, Jose. What's going on, my man? Buckeye fan in the building. I'm concerned. It's concerning for recruiting because of Fuller. Kids, I completely agree, Kenny. The defensive kids that we should be getting and need, I don't think they like what they see. I don't think they like how these guys are being used on the defensive side of the ball. Absolutely. Nick Saban got isn't this the second time Saban's caught the Rona? Watch him still coach. Guarantee it. I'm going to keep it 100. Never in my life would I have said Florida State's defense is better than Miami. You just got the wrong coaches. I like some of the players they're offering, like Calvin. I saw that. He's committed to Navy quarterback, Calvin Johnson II. But again, I'm glad you bring that up, Chris G. So can we stop the narrative that Norvell don't recruit black quarterbacks, please? Can we stop that? Okay, thank you. I just want to get that out there because that was also a hot topic for a little bit. Irv Gotti says Charlie Strong or Muschamp. If I had to pick between the two, a part of me wants to lean towards Muschamp, but I'd be happy with either one. Just from a defensive coaching, part of me kind of wants to lean towards Muschamp, but I'd be happy with either one. I seen FSU offered an athlete who's committed to Navy. Oh, yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Calvin Johnson II. Yep, he's a quarterback / athlete. He's committed to Navy. Absolutely. At this point, but those are the guys they're going to have to get. And that's fine. Don't expect Calvin Johnson II to come in day one and be a contributor. That's all I ask the Florida State faithful. These kids that you're going to see may have a ton of potential. Again, we can go name off. I can name off 50 NFL players who are 3 stars or less. From the Khalil Macks and the Aaron Donald, these guys that are all pros, best at their positions. I can name these guys, but we have to give them time. All I'm asking from FSU faithful is that when they get on campus, give them time. We may not see them to year 3, and that's okay because Norvell's going to be here anyway. But we have a chance if you recruiting the right guys, if you scouting like I think, you got a chance to really find some gems. You hit the transfer portal, get some already established talent enough to get you at least next year. Like if you can win 7-8 games, I think that's going to help recruiting take off tremendously while these other guys develop. We just got to be patient. Plenty of DCs out there that will kill our talent level. Hopefully one of them is, I agree, Tyler. That's what I'm saying. We just don't got the right chess player out here. We got the pieces. We just don't got the right chess player. The guy that we got moving the pieces should be playing Monopoly or something. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Ed Reed was 2-star. There's a bunch of them, bro. There's a bunch of them. Andrew Luck was a 3-star. I mean, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of guys you can name that we're not highly touted. We just got to be patient and let these guys develop, though. Right? It's like this year. Everybody was asking, man, where's Corey Wren? Where's Corey Wren? It doesn't mean Corey Wren's not going to be a great player. Corey Wren's just not ready to contribute right now. Maybe give Corey Wren a couple years, and all of a sudden, this dude's running down the field. He's what everybody wants him to be. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys like that on the roster now that just aren't ready. And with the type of guys they're currently recruiting, we're going to have to wait a few years, man. I don't see, even with the guys that we currently got committed, we maybe 2 or 3 have maybe instant impact capability. I think Chambry Jackson being one, maybe one of those 4-star corners being another. You know what I mean? So as long as we're patient, I think we'll be okay. Ed Reed is the GOAT. No dispute here. And that's coming from an Ohio State fan. Pat Mahomes. There's a lot of them, Buckeye. There's a lot of them. Now you can't sustain a program. Okay, you're not going to be able to sustain a program off of these gems and these 3-stars. You won't be able to sustain it. But what you can do is in the meantime, you could recruit it. And once you can start winning some games on the field and boost the recruiting, you can, I mean, Jimbo did something very similar when he first got here. I've done this plenty of times before. The Cameron Irvings was a 2-star. The Xavier Rhodes was a 3-star wide receiver who they moved to DB. Brian Stork was a 2-star tight end who ended up being the best center in the nation. And Trey Jackson was not highly touted. We can go on and on. One of the beautiful things about a motivated Jimbo Fisher was his eye for talent and his scouting ability. Devontae Freeman, who ended up being a 4-star, but at the time they offered Devontae Freeman, he was unrated. He didn't have a star. Once FSU got on his radar, then other scouts started picking up on Devontae Freeman. Jimbo had that eye. We'll see if Norvell has that eye. Florida State fans don't have the patience to wait, Pope. We need that staff to do well in the portal for it to work. Well, you definitely got to hit up the portal, Irv. You're definitely going to have to hit up the portal. That's the beauty. So the one thing that's really working in FSU's favor for next year is this portal, and that nobody's being penalized. Everybody's allowed to transfer at will pretty much, and nobody's losing any eligibility. So you definitely got to pick up some instant impact players, or at least guys that can help immediately in that portal. But you have to have patience. FSU fans have to have patience. half of these FSU fans ain't even become FSU fans until 2013. That's why they're so spoiled. Because from 2013 to what? 3 years ago, FSU was in a New Year's Six Bowl every year, winning 10 games every year. It wasn't until Jimbo's last year in 2017, 2016, so about 4 years ago, that this thing really started going downhill. But if you've been a fan as long as I have, then you understand the lost decade. You understand what happened in between FSU's last national championship and until Jimbo took over as the head coach. So you understand patience. You have to have patience. Fuller out here playing Chinese checkers. I don't know what star Ray was. Ray was a highly touted linebacker, though. That was so long ago, man. I don't even know how they were doing stars back then. But Ray Lewis, being a Lakeland native, shout out to Lakeland, my hometown, Polk County. I know Ray was pretty high. Ray Lewis was pretty highly touted coming out of Lakeland, though. Polk, what are your expectations for next season in terms of? Kenny, I'm gonna hold off on that. I really want to see how the offseason plays out. I don't expect a huge recruiting class. I expect us to finish somewhere in the 20s on the recruiting class. So I'm not gonna pretend like we're gonna shock anybody in the recruiting class. But I do want to see who they pick up in the transfer. I want to see if he targets a quarterback. What the wide receiver room is going to look like. I really just want to see the offseason before. Once I see the offseason and some of the moves that get made, potentially any coaching changes, if that's a thing, then I'll be more inclined to make that prediction. As of right now, you can't see much improvement, right? So we got to wait and see. I'm sick of star rankings. We need hungry. I agree, Peter. You need hungry players. You need guys that don't care about none of that. Go out there and ball. I'm excited to see Demore Tate. Absolutely. Coaches and players are the same. You need at least 2 years or 3 years of development. I see Brownlee beats Dent on the. Brownlee's beating him now. I don't think Brownlee's going anywhere anytime soon. Now Dent's one of those 12 names. So we'll see if Dent even sticks around for next year. I don't see Brownlee going anywhere. Good point, Ohio State. Ohio State, you own your stuff tonight. Georgia's a perfect example of a school that recruits 5-star quarterbacks every year, but you wouldn't be able to tell by the way their quarterbacks play. Like he says, they misuse them. Having all the talent in the world is great if you don't know how to use it. And if you know how to use it, again, football is the same as chess. You can have a board full of queens and it don't matter if you don't know how to use it. And I could have a knight, a bishop, and a rook and get checkmate because I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Jimbo is a good coach. And I don't hate him. I hate how he left. I thought it was very unprofessional the way he left Florida State because of him being unhappy. I'm not mad at Jimbo Fisher for taking that money. How could you be? If somebody offered me 75, what they offer him? 75 million or whatever, I'm out the door too. But you could at least did your job until you left. You could at least kept doing your job until you left, kept recruiting. There's plenty of recruits that came out and said that if Jimbo Fisher completely lost contact with them at some point during that season. They stopped calling recruits. It's out there. The facts are out there. That's my problem with Jimbo. It's not that he left. I don't blame him for taking that money. Anybody would have took that money. How can you not take that money? What I blame him for is not he could have put FSU in a great position and then left. Then I have no issues. It's the way he left that really upset me. But he's a great coach. He has always been a great coach, and he's very knowledgeable. If you ever listen to him talk. What's going on, Kings for Life? Man, I really do think that next season will be so good. But the only thing that worries me is if it doesn't get a DC. Norvell downfall starts if he's worried about friendship. Absolutely. I think Norvell's going to give Fuller another year. Now, here's the deal. Let's say we give Fuller another year. Let's say we get some solid guys in the transfer portal and we finish with around a top 25 class, 25, 24, 23. Let's say the offense takes off next year. And by take off, we'll keep it in relative terms, but Jordan Travis stays healthy and we're able to put up 30 plus points a game. But the defense is giving up 30, 40. Let's say the defense makes no strides. At what point do you cut bait with Fuller? I mean, if it was me, I'd have been cut bait with him. But I get it. You're gonna give him another year. I just see it. I don't see Fuller leaving. But halfway through next year, if you see no progression, bro, the offense can't do this and the defense, that can't be the trend. One can't be going up and one going down. Fuller might have 3 to 4 games next year for me to show some improvement, or he's got to go. And if Norvell's smart, he'll cut bait with him. Lewis was a 3-star. Oh, there you go. I remember Ray had a lot of hype coming out of Lakeland, though. I told people for the longest Brownlee's a dog. I knew he was going to work his way up. He from Florida. They never give players 4 or 5 stars. Mackenzie Milton would be a great pickup if he entered the transfer portal. Facts, Lenore's Florida guys rated on a different level. Absolutely. I've always said that. I always said I'll take a Miami level. I'll take a Miami 3-star over. I mean, hell, pick a Virginia 5. Like you can. Well, Virginia's a pretty solid hotbed for recruiting, especially that Virginia Beach area. But give me a Tennessee 5-yard. Give me a Tennessee running back who's a 5-star. I'll take that 3-star Miami back because I know the type of dogs he's playing down there, and I've always been that way. To you guys' point, Richard and Lenore's. What you got, Dennis? Here you go. What you got? What you talking about? What happened to Georgia? Other than the fact that they lose all the time. What do you mean? Please don't talk about Georgia because I'm mad right now because about the whole state of Georgia. What happened, Dennis? Polk Jimbo didn't care. That was my issue with him. That's my point. I think he's a great coach. It was the way he left the program that really rubbed me the wrong way. Coaching and development is critical for FSU. We need coaches that know they are doing. Absolutely 100% true. We need the coaching. Peter said 2 games. I'm giving them 4, but I feel you. The man got 2 games. 2 games next year to show something. I feel you 100%, Peter. So, but yeah, that's really the gist of what's been going on this week, man. We got Virginia coming up. I'm interested to see how we play. Jordan Travis should be relatively healthy for this game. We're going to see more of Thomas Schrader going forward because, again, Lucas is being rumored to pretty much be out the door already. So we'll see how we look against Virginia. I just want to see the defense make some strides finally. I mean, we've seen with Jordan Travis in the game that the offense can move the ball and do some good things. We have yet to see the defense show anything except for 1 half against North Carolina. And ever since then, they ain't done nothing. I would love to see the defense come out and do something against Virginia and them not score 40 plus points and not put up over 500 yards. That would be nice to see. And again, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're in 2020 or if we're in 1998, but Roy Jones and Mike Tyson are fighting this weekend. So that's another thing to look forward to this weekend. Of course, you got Turkey Day tomorrow, which I'm always excited for because, like I said, I love to eat. My favorite holiday, man. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Fuller has 0 games. Tyler's got no games. He don't want to see nothing. He wants Fuller gone now. I'm done with Fuller now. Everybody's saying now, I'm done with Fuller now. I'm just saying he's not going anywhere now. It's not happening. Let's stop pretending like they're gonna fire this guy after the season. It's not happening. I would love it, and I'd give Norvell a standing ovation if he was able to if he fired Fuller after the season. I don't think it's gonna happen. So I'm going to give him 4 games. Let's see. Maybe we're wrong about Adam Fuller, and maybe next year with some guys that are more bought into what he's doing and maybe understands what he's trying to do more, maybe that defense is better next year. I'll give him 4 games, but after that, if it ain't improved, he's got to go. But I hear you. I 100% hear you guys, and I'm 100% with you guys if you're done with what you see. I think Hamza is playing. What do we have to gain by keeping him? I don't know. I don't know what we have to gain. So what I understand your point. The question is, what do we have to lose? And I'm talking financially. I don't know if there's a buyout clause. I don't know if they would still owe him. They would probably still owe him money if they fired him, which they may not want to pay on top of paying another defensive coordinator, right? That's always the issue. I think that decision is probably financially, if I had to be honest. Oh, that's stupid, Dennis. I'm sorry for that. For something you never did. That sucks. I heard something that Hamza was thinking about. I think he should. I don't think he has enough tape. Now, off of his measurements alone, NFL teams are going to give a hard look at Nasruddin. The kid's 6'4", 220 safety. I mean, that's Derwin-esque. That's the NFL prototype nowadays. These tall, big safeties. So teams are definitely going to look at him. I think he might want to come back. Tyson going to knock. I think so too. But there's a lot of different rules. I've heard that they're not even allowing these. I mean, remember, these two are 50 years old. I heard they might not even be letting these guys go for the knockout. And then I heard later on that they are going to let them go for the knockout. There's been a lot of different rumors of the rules and how these guys are going to fight. I think if they let them really fight. Now, let me say this. Roy Jones is the baddest man in my lifetime. I think Ali's the greatest, but Roy Jones is the baddest man in my lifetime I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. Roy Jones in his prime wasn't nothing touching that. And Tyson was a monster too, but wasn't nothing touching what Roy Jones was doing to people. With that said, if they let them dudes go, Tyson's gonna. I just think Tyson's gonna walk through whatever Roy Jones is putting out there. I just see that. But POLK, it's everything. Time is everything. There are some DCs. I'm not denying that, guys. I'm not saying what I would do. If it was me, Fuller would already be fired. What I'm saying is I don't think Norvell's going to do it. I'm just going it from what I think Norvell's going to do. I don't think Norvell's going to fire this man. I think he's going to give him another year. So I'm going 4 games. If it was me, if I was on the sidelines, Fuller would have been done after the. I would have really considered after the Georgia Tech game. After that Jacksonville State game, I probably would have cut bait with Adam Fuller. By that time, I had seen all I needed to see. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Fuller should go sell brushes. We might be wrong about this damn DC, but 36 points per game allowed is a horde, man. Thank you. We might be wrong. Exactly. Kusami coming out with the truth. But it's horrid. With the level of talent, all of them bought in or not, if you can't figure out some way to keep teams from under 36 points per game and, 500 yards per game, I would love to know what we're giving up per game in yards. Guarantee you it's over 5. And like you said, youngest team or not, man, no excuses. Norvell going to give him time till his job is at risk? I definitely think he's going to give him this year and the beginning of next. If Norvell's smart, though, and this thing don't improve, you got to cut bait with that. Tyler says it's only 36. It feels like we're giving up way more than 36. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, how is it only 36 when I think about it? That's it. What's dragging them is that Georgia Tech game is probably the only game that's dragging that points per game down. In the Jacksonville State game, where I think we only gave up 21, everybody else has pretty much scored over 40 on us. I heard rumors that Dante Lucas is leaving. Yeah, I talked about that, James. The rumors are that Lucas is pretty much out the door. Let me ask you, Pope. I don't like Fuller myself, but what if he had Alabama defense or Ohio State, Clemson? What do you think they would look like? It's a solid question. If he had those defenses, obviously, I do think they are more talented than ours. So he'll have more wiggle room, I guess is what I'm trying to say. More, he can make a bad call and maybe have guys make up for the bad call. Okay. But in the big games, it would show. Okay. Against the lower tier opponents, the talent level, I think, would be at a point where it probably wouldn't show. But if he was at Bama, I think it would show against a Georgia. It would show against a Florida. Adam Fuller against Florida would be a massacre. With Bama's defense or not. Because it's not the players. It's the way Adam Fuller lines up his players. Again, go watch the Louisville game. Watch the safety. Okay, I don't have a problem necessarily with the safety being in the slot, covering the slot guy. But on a 3rd and 6, why is the safety 15 yards off the ball? It's those things that would have gotten, regardless of what defense he's coaching, it is going to get him killed and ultimately lose the game. What's your thoughts on Satterfield? We talked about Satterfield before. I don't really have any thoughts on Satterfield. I mean, Louisville isn't necessarily looking great. I don't know why there's hype why there's so much hype on Satterfield. I actually heard that Satterfield might be looking to take that South Carolina job. I heard that South Carolina was looking to talk to him, if I'm not mistaken. Satterfield is the Louisville coach, if I'm not mistaken. Don't let me be saying the wrong things. He is I'm talking about the Louisville head coach. Am I wrong or right? Yeah, talking about Louisville head coach. Sometimes I just wins will cover the defense issues. We given up 490. Oh my God. I could have sworn it was over 500, but 490? Whoop-de goddamn do. So yeah, basically 500. The defense would be worse. I talked about Dabo, and I don't want to talk. Clown Bo. I don't want to talk too much about Clown Bo Swinney because I don't have time to give him the attention that he seeks. But he's a clown. I already talked about that in my previous video. He's a clown. And I would really like for the braided Mike Norvell with the braids need to come out and cuss his ass out. But Mike Norvell's taking the classy route, and that's cool. But Dabo Swinney's a clown. Clown Bo Swinney. Correction, 464. Not to mention we're giving up an additional 67 yards due to penalties. Wow. That's crazy. I kind of think Norvell's going to do what you said, Pope. Give Fuller a few games. If you're going to keep him, then you got to at least give him a chance. But there's no way. Look at these numbers. I mean, Kusami Hayes is putting all the numbers out there. 460 yards per game, over 36 points a game. That's a terrible defense. If you go into next year and you're putting up the same type of yardage, with the same type of points per game, how do you justify keeping him? By game 3, you have to be gone. And quite frankly, the first game of the season is Notre Dame next year. So his first game of the season, he's going to get graded tough, and he's going to have a tough time. And if that team doesn't show any improvement, goodbye. No rigor room, Pope. He coaches like he doesn't want to get blown away in secondary. And there you go. Jose's know what he's talking about. He coaches like he's scared of guys. Adam Fuller coaches this defense as if he doesn't have any athletes in the secondary. Every corner is 10 to 15 yards off the ball. I don't get it. He coaches like he's extremely scared. Instead of using guys to their strength, he doesn't. Damn, Pope. Me and you should choose 9 others in the chat and easily get 300 yards. You feel me? Man, Fuller said we're going to play offense on defense. Yeah, if our offense was doing those numbers, man, maybe we have a few more wins. When Mike Norvell said he'd pay Clemson for to come. Yeah. And when I heard that, I was like, Mike, don't give him a dime. Last time I checked, don't Dabo make $9 million or something a year? Dabo crying about the trip to Tallahassee. Get the hell out of here. How much money you make a year? If you really want to play these Seminoles. What is this? If you really want to pay these Seminoles, pay him. I mean, play him. You could spare $500,000 or however much it costs to make a trip to Tallahassee. They want to talk about us ducking or canceling the game or running from a game. We're the ones offering to reschedule it. They're the ones who don't want to reschedule it. Oh, and by the way, none of this even happens if you don't allow that kid to travel, period, point blank. But again, I covered all of that already in my previous video about the irresponsibility of Clown Bow Swinney. At what point do you stop caring about football and start being an adult and making adult decisions? At what point do you go, okay, the kid's tested negative, but he's been symptomatic. We'll just sit you out. You're a backup lineman anyway. We'll just sit you out. Not like you need to make the trip. But no, cooler heads didn't prevail. Logical thinking didn't prevail. Like, come on. All of this shit was avoidable if Clown Bow Swinney does a responsible thing as an adult and says, okay, I know you tested negative. Because again, like I said before, by the letter of the law, he didn't really do anything wrong, if we're being honest. The kid tested negative. Who cares that you can't taste nothing? Who cares that your throat is sore? Who cares that you have no sense of smell and you're showing all the symptoms of COVID? You tested negative, get him out there. By the letter of the law, he didn't do anything wrong. Common logic, I don't know, adult thinking, a guy who's supposed to be caring about the well-being of his players, maybe looks at it and goes, he's got some symptoms. We'll just hold you off. Yes, you tested negative, but we're not going to risk it. But nope, not Clown Bow. Not Clown Bow. He doesn't think like that. Oh, this is also the same guy that has had over 30 COVID cases on his team. Oh, and his star quarterback has missed the last 2 games because of COVID. So obviously, Clown Bow Swinney hasn't taken COVID serious at all. Oh, and he wear the football matters shirt during the height of social injustice, but he's only been tone deaf to that issue as well. I'm done with Clown. I'm done with the clown. He's a clown and I'm done with him. And I've been saying he's a clown from day one. So none of this surprises me. And Clemson fans, go ahead and hit the dislike button like you did before. I'm cool with it. Dislikes equals likes for me. So if the Tigers don't play us, does that mean they forfeit? No, I just think it'll be a cancel. They're not going to call it a forfeit. ACC they don't have any spine or backbone to go against what Clemson is talking about anyway. Because if they did, they would have said, hey, it's funny because if you look at Florida State is no friend of ESPN. FSU is no friend of the national media. Most national media the national media bashes FSU every chance they get. But notice in this case, everyone's pretty much been on it saying that, man, FSU did the right thing. But the ACC, everybody but the ACC, the conference that we made, but Clemson's always been their darling. Because they were like original members. But the conference that we made, yeah. I wish the FSU needs to leave this conference. I hate the ACC. The ACC treats FSU like if we're Wake Forest or something, and all we've ever done was carry this conference for 20 plus years. When Clemson started complaining about money, Norvell was like, if it's so important to you, then I'll pay. Can you imagine if we actually paid out of pocket? LML Clemson would be so embarrassed. It's all talk. They got the money if they want to make that trip. They want to talk about excuses. Now they're making excuses. I would love to see Norvell actually put his money where his mouth is. I already had dislike for him, so I already knew what Dabo's. Oh, Clown Bo. I already knew what he's always been about. No, we can talk. I mean, you already started talking about him. I know we're not trying to talk about dude, but I can't help it. He sounds bitter about something. Maybe he's still bitter about he's always hated at Florida State for the whoopings he's constantly received. So I get it. John Shields. I get it. But he's a clown. He's always been a clown. And the only thing that he does right, he's not a good coach. I've said this before. He's not a good coach. What he is very good at, he's a very CEO. He's a very good, I'm going to hire the best D coordinator. I'm going to hire the best offensive coordinator. I'm a pretty good talent evaluator. And then I'm going to let those guys do their jobs and get out their way. And I'm going to just reap all the benefits. But the X's and O's coach, he's a joke and always has been. Hit that dislike, Clemson fans, because I'm in here and I'm on your ass. And I really don't care. So you want to see Pitt beat Clemson to put the Canes in the ACC championship game? I don't care. It'd be cool to see. I don't care. Be careful what y'all ask for, because y'all been down talking Notre Dame all year, like if Notre Dame's just so overrated. But be careful what you ask for in that Notre Dame game. But I know y'all don't really fear Notre Dame, so I get it. I think the logo and the uniform are too hard. The jealousy is real, no matter how good or bad we are. Any score predictions for the VA game? Oh, honestly, man, I haven't given the VA game much thought. With the guys that continuously are opting out, and I don't. It's not to make excuses. I don't know what kind of football team I'm even gonna see. An early prediction as of right now. Let's just go. Jordan Travis is playing. I'm gonna say, and I don't even believe I'm saying this, because in my heart I don't even believe this. My mind and my heart tell me this is a dumb prediction. Florida State 27, Virginia 20. I don't think this defense is going to hold them to 20, but that's what I'm going to go with. Maybe the defense can finally prove me wrong. Exactly. 30 plus. Oh, and by the way, they've also sat players out when they've been symptomatic, even if they tested negative. Because, as a intelligent adult who's in charge of these kids' lives and livelihoods, as well as these other coaches on the staff, Mike Norvell said, you know what? Even if you're symptomatic, we're just gonna sit you out. We're just gonna be cautious. Nope, not Dabo Swinney. Oh, you got 108 fever? Did you test negative? Get on the football field. Last I checked, Pope, we came about 3 yards shy of tying Virginia if it wasn't for bogus play call by Kendall Brown. So in my opinion, we should be competitive. Absolutely agree. Quite frankly, we should have won that game. Last year, we should have won this game. some bad throws by Blackman. I mean, you might want to blame Kendall Browse, but there were some throws by Blackman that he flat out missed in this game that would have won this game. As a matter of fact, one was to Tamarion Terry wide open down the sideline, and he had another one to McKitty that would have been a first down that he completely whiffed on that throw as well. Blackman was much to blame as not Kendall Browse for that game. We should have won that game. We've been so unpredictable this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we won or lost by 24. No outcomes. Yeah, absolutely. I would just like to see the defense against the Virginia offense that isn't great. I would really like to see them do something, man. Can we get them to do something? Can we get the defense to sort of buck up and play solid? Granted, can Adam Fuller call a decent game this game? 27-20. That's what I'm thinking. And like Tyler said, we've been predictably bad. If there's one thing you can predict, is that we're going to play terrible on defense. Like I said, man, of our 7 losses last year, 4 of them came by 6 points or less. UVA was one of them. A better quarterback, Willie Taggart, probably still is the head coach here. I think that's pretty apparent. Think we can make a bowl game. Well, I think everybody's eligible for a bowl game this year, but with a limited amount of bowl games, which I'm not even sure how many bowl games they're doing this year. I don't think a 2-win or 3 or 4-win FSU team is like a sexy pick for a bowl game. I could be wrong. Everybody's eligible. If we're so lucky that we get a nod to play whoever, I guess we should take it. They should take it. And the more reps, the more snaps, the better. So they should definitely take it if they get a chance. I don't know if FSU's going to get that opportunity. What up, Maiden Day? Thank you, Chad. Same to you and yours. You're not wrong there, Tyler. If they want to sell some tickets, may be the case. The problem you're going to run into, if you're going to put us in a bowl, somebody's going to have to sit out. What 6, 7, 8-win team are they going to leave out of a bowl game? You know what I mean? And put us in for. Somebody's going to have to get left out. Who knows? A team that fought for 6 wins, and 6 wins usually guarantee you bowl eligibility. And they let Florida State pass them up. Those people are going to have those administrations are going to have a solid gripe, a bone to pick, so to speak, if you go that route. My bad, y'all. It's crazy how Trask might win the Heisman, but not even a top 2 QB in the nation. Well, the Heisman doesn't know. The Heisman doesn't go to the best player all the time. I remember when who's that guy from Ohio State won it? Troy Smith, I think is his name. The year Florida beat Ohio State in national championship. He won the Heisman. Nobody thought he was the best player in the nation or the best quarterback in the nation. Sometimes the Heisman doesn't always go to the best guy, but the guy who puts up the most gaudy numbers. Clemson only became a blue blood. First of all, they're not a blue blood. Just because they have a few successful years, we're not going to call them a blue blood. I get they're rolling right now, but they're not a blue blood. We're not going to do it. So I'm going to scratch that out of there. I'm going to continue to read. Clemson only became a good team once they built an amusement park facility and started dropping bags to Deshaun Watson. They need to stay humble and thank Jimbo for tanking the program. Screw Clemson. Okay. I like all the rest of that stuff you said, but they ain't no blue blood. You got to do it for over 20, 30 years to then be considered a blue blood program. Not in the span of 5 years doesn't make you a blue blood. So we're not going to do that. Thanks for the correct. Hey, Herb, I got you, homie. That's why we're here. You correct me, I correct you. That's why we're here. But see, I don't even like to get into it with Clemson. Clemson fans are starting to become very unbearable. This recent success of theirs has made them act like they've always been on top of college football, and we all know that that's not true, right? We all know Clemson hasn't constantly been on top of college football. I mean, FSU still holds the lead in the series. We still hold a 57-0 win over them. I mean, come on, man. Clemson, you guys still little brother. Hold on, let me pay this kid for mowing the grass. Especially Joey Galloway, he's a Notre Dame guy. The most patronizing fan base is Clemson. And you know what? Made in the Ville, they've turned that way. I remember when you could have solid conversation. See, when they were used to being losers, Clemson fans were actually pretty cool people to talk to. And now they have turned into these, I don't even know what to call them. They've become this self-righteous, like they act like they've always been on top. You know what I mean? And it's very, very crazy. Shit is only catching this much wind because it's coming from arguably a top 3 coach in college football right now. If we were a head coach at UVA, I guarantee you First Take wouldn't be speaking on it. And most of these people have been on Florida State's side on this issue, though. But again, this isn't Dabo Swinney's first time being an idiot, being a clown. He's a clown. This is the same guy that said racism isn't real. We got a black president. I don't want to hear about racism anymore. He said these things. The same guy, man. If they don't like it, they can leave the country. That came from Clown Bo Swinney's mouth. I'm not making this stuff up. This is the same guy. And the only reason he's constantly gotten a pass for saying these ridiculous, insensitive things and out-of-touch things is because Clemson's winning a lot. Did JT break his finger on his throwing hand this week in practice? I didn't hear that. I think he just did an interview today and said he was healthy. So I didn't hear that, Panama. Clemson's program has been existent I already know where you're going, so I'm going to read it twice because I already know where you're going and I like it. Clemson's program has been existent for 118 years. Clemson's program has been existent for 118 years. They only have 16 10-win seasons, 9 which came in the last 9 years. FSU football has been around for damn near half, pretty much half that time. And we already know Clemson's a joke. They've always been a joke. And Clemson fans, again, hit that Clownbo fans, Clemson fans, go ahead and hit the dislike. I know they're coming, and I'm with it. I fully accept it. Dabo just want attention. You're still up in the series by 7. Clownbo, Clemson, the PR battle. Oh, he made a fool out of himself. He really did. If overall lead makes y'all big brother, does that make the Canes your big brother? John, go sit in the corner. Okay. Go sit in the corner. And these kids still go to Clemson because they win. And you know what? I can't speak on other people's parents. But I think we kind of know that People will put their kids in situations. Some people live vicariously through their children, whether it's we like to say it or not. And some people will put their kids in a situation that may not be the best for them because they think they can get the most out of it. If honestly, as a young black man, if I'm just being 100, with the stuff that Dabo Swinney says out of his mouth, I'd be very hard pressed to ever send my child to play football for him. With having a assistant openly use the N-word and get no repercussion, no reprimand for that at all, didn't get fired, didn't get suspended, didn't get fined, and that was cool. I'm just speaking as a black father. Now, you can take it as what you want to take it as, but how does that kind of stuff happen and nothing happens about it? Oh, because he's winning. Yet when Norvell misspoke on the Black Lives Matter movement during the George Floyd thing and the height of the unrest, and he misrepresented what he was going to do with the team, oh, ESPN had a field day with Mike Norvell and FSU over that, and Marvin Wilson coming out and talking about it. Oh, Mike Norvell had lost the team. Oh, there's no trust in Tallahassee. This is a debacle. Mike Norvell what is he doing? But Dabo Swinney can have a coach say that N-word, and that gets not even a day of coverage. Because he's winning games. Because he's winning games, and that's just the way it is. From saying all that, again, Sniper, because he's winning games. The moment Dabo Swinney starts losing is the moment he'll see the media turn on him in an instant. And they'll bury him under, but Dabo and Clemson's making ESPN money. I mean, we know. It's all a money thing. You win games. I'm late to the show today. Did you already talk about Terry's tweet? I did touch on Terry's tweet a little bit, Derek. I did. It's like he knows we'll back terrorize him and he can't stand it. Agreed. I would not let my son play at Clemson, whether due to that comment. You have to take a hard look at it. You got to take as a black parent, come on. He told people to leave the country. Who do you think he was referencing? Told them to leave the country if they're not happy with. I forget the exact comment, but you guys know because you can go look it up. Leave the country if you're not happy with it. I mean, come on, man. True, Manny Diaz would never speak like Dabo. What are you talking about, John? Why does ESPN and the media hate us so much? Great question that I don't have an answer to. I don't know. Maybe because FSU don't play ball like the other teams. John Shields, if I'm not mistaken, we beat Miami 7 years straight. You'll get 4 years straight, but 3 more to catch up if you can make it. There you go, Panama. That's why we're not little brothers, John. That's why we're not little brothers. So, Derek, I'll touch on Terry's tweet since you want to talk about it. I'm pretty much tired of talking about Clown Bo Swinney because I'm sick of it. Terry tweeted out basically, if I talked about it earlier, but I'll retouch on it. He's not. It's not right what's going on at Florida State. I think a lot of people thought he was referencing the. Honestly, I think a lot of people thought he was referencing the Clemson situation, and what I believe he was referencing, because he ended up deleting the tweet. It was a vague tweet. Of course, he went into no detail because that's what these guys do. They tweet the same thing with Durden. They tweet stupid stuff and then they end up deleting the tweet, so you can't go back and find it. He deletes the tweet. What I believe he was talking about was guys getting kicked off this team. Mike Norvell is kicking kids off this football team. And I think that's where Terry was like, yo, this isn't right what's going on, because Dante Lucas is rumored to be the next one out the door. And I think it's not going to be any shortage of guys that's going to continue to be kind of forced out the door. That's what I believe Terry was talking about. I don't think it had anything to do with Clemson. My God, Around the Horn went in on, yeah. And they should have. And again, most of the media has been on FSU's side in this case, which is usually not the case. But I think a logical thinking adults that aren't blinded by orange understand that, you know what? It's not Florida State's fault. It's not Florida State's fault that you let a symptomatic player practice with the team. It's not Florida State's fault that he traveled and then tested positive. Granted, he did test negative. Again, I will continue to say this in defense of Clownbo. By the letter of the law, he did nothing wrong. Where's the intelligence at? We're going, you're symptomatic. You're not even going to play. I don't care about a negative test. Tests come back wrong all the time. You're symptomatic. We're just going to sit you out. Is it a coincidence that the symptomatic player ended up testing positive? No, it's not a coincidence. Even when we're winning, ESPN and the media don't like us. Yeah, they sure don't. What's going on, Pat? How you doing? And happy Thanksgiving. So that's really the gist of everything that's going on this week. The Clownbo situation. The Lucas thing is kind of picked up. Again, there's rumors that Donta Lucas is pretty much out the door. You got Durden out the door. You got Virginia coming up Saturday. An FSU basketball game was canceled. The basketball team did have their game canceled, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Tyler for shooting me the $5 donation for Happy Thanksgiving, man. Thank you for that, Tyler. Ooh, excuse me. Ardavius Hall says, I used to have no problem with Clemson, but since they have been winning, their head coach has gotten the big head. Of course. Dabo was humble until he won a few games. Now he feel like he can just talk to people and like he can just talk and make things happen. And maybe in his own world up there in South Carolina, he has that power. But he going to keep talking. And Mike Norvell going to show up with the cornrows and he's going to put them hands on him at midfield. So Clownbo better watch his mouth. Because cornrow Mike Norvell going to come out there and piece his ass up. I foresee it. And if he don't do it, oh no, somebody else might. He better pick on North Carolina or he better pick on Wake Forest or one of them Virginia schools. You come down here to Tallahassee and keep running your mouth and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. Oh yeah, Tyler. I did a live show during the draft when Vassell and Williams got picked. I went live. So thanks, Pat, man. Same to you and yours. But yeah, 2 basketball players in the first round. I think Trent Forrest signed. I know he signed with some. Did he sign with Utah? Trent Forrest signed with somebody. I want to say it was Utah Jazz, but I could be wrong. Trent Forrest. So FSU right now has 3 guys. Yeah, Utah Jazz. We got a Utah Jazz, Trent Forrest, San Antonio Spurs, Vassell, and Chicago Bill, Patrick Williams. How do you feel about the Knicks pick? So we need a point guard. I wasn't hyped with Opie Toppin, but I'm willing to give Opie a chance. He's a big-time athlete, explosive jumper. So I like those things about him. The problem is if we can move Julius Randle and get a point guard, then I'm all in on the pick. Because right now, the power forward spot is we got too many of them. You can't play Julius Randle and Opie Toppin at the same time. So the rumor is they're trying to move Julius Randle for maybe Lonzo. I'll take Lonzo Ball and see what we can do with that. But at the end of the day, man, we needed a point guard. So that's why I wasn't too happy initially. Bro, he's going to get pieced up. That Clownbo keep talking, he's going to get his ass pieced up. Excited for baseball, basketball. We got a lot of good things, man. I think basketball, man, I really think Florida State, as long as the basketball season can get played out when they let these kids play, I think we can see some special stuff from this basketball team. I really do. But hey, man, 21 in the building. I know we had as many as 30-something. So if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. A little special Thanksgiving Eve episode. Nothing too crazy. I just want to come on here and touch base with no family. Pretty eventful week. So it was worth coming on here and touching base with you guys. Oh, and I might as well put this out here. Next week, I'm not going to be. Next week, I got a lot of business to take care of. I won't be around. So Saturday, of course, we're going to get our typical Saturday on. Sunday, I'll probably still do Sunday. There won't be any shows during the week next week. There won't be any Saturday show next week either. I'm going to be out playing soldier, so I won't be able to do the show for the entire week next week. So just a heads up in advance. Sorry for any, sorry if you were looking forward to those things, but yeah, next week ain't going to have time to do anything. I won't even be home. I'll be gone for an entire 7 days. If we end up playing Clemson game, we better bring our best game, because they are going to, oh yeah, if we end up playing that game, Dabo's going to try to be an asshole. Absolutely. Ain't no cap. If we pulled off an upset over Clemson, the fan section would rush the field and somebody going to have. I don't want to see us rush the field, because I think that's beneath us as FSU. In fact, that we've already been there. We've won national titles. We got Heisman winners, All-Americans, All-Pros. I think rushing the field is beneath FSU. I really do. Especially rushing the field on a team that you've historically owned. I don't want to see us rush the field. With that said, I wouldn't be mad if somebody rushed the field and just hit Dabo with a quick 2-piece and then ran back off the field. I'm with that all the way. Well, according to Clown Bo Swinney, Nick Saban don't really want to play this weekend. That's why he has COVID. Ardavius, yeah, what do you guys think? Good question from Ardavius. What do you guys think about this Virginia game? How do you think we're going to do? I said 27-20. I really have no faith that we're only going to give up 20 points, but hell, why not? Is it going to be a shootout? What do you guys think? What is Florida State? What is the prediction this weekend for Florida State? If we're paying attention to POLK's comment and my comment, it was about the overall record. Came up 35-0. I don't care, John. We're not little brothers. What up, fellas? What's up, Lorenzo? FSU needs to go out and play productive football the next 2 or 3 weeks. Close out the season winning. It would be nice going into the offseason, which is at this point is all I'm really looking forward to is this offseason and to see what they do. Who can they convince to come over from this portal? What coaching changes get made, if any? Could we have some surprise recruits, if any? Those type of things is really what I'm looking forward to. Ardavius says 42-35 FSU. At this point, I don't know if we could even score 42. The way our wide receivers have been playing, I'm not even sure we can put up that many points. 38-27. I ain't going to be mad if we upset Clemson under any circumstance. I don't care if we put on tutus after the game and prance around the field. I've never been so anxious to get into off-season in my life. Right, Lorenzo? I'm ready for that off-season. And 28-17 knows. So I think everybody thinks FSU can come in here and beat Virginia. I believe we can beat Virginia. No way we hold Virginia to under 25. I feel you. I'm sticking with my score, but I feel you. I have no confidence that they're going to hold them under 25 either. But I'm saying 27-20 Florida State. We will struggle against Virginia. This is a solid squad. They almost beat Miami. The way I see it, if we're going to win, we need to put up 40. I understand that too. With the no faith in this defense, if you're going to win, yeah, you got to put up at least 40. I feel you, man. until these offensive playmakers can step up. I don't know. Where's the points going to come from? Jordan Travis he can't do it all himself. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I just don't think he can do it all himself. Jordan Travis is going to have 4 touchdowns on the ground and a couple in the air. That's really what you're asking. It's really what you're asking for Jordan Travis to just be all world. Maybe the running game, but you got to be able to throw the ball to open up all that other stuff. Of course, John. Of course you would say that. I feel you. Again, I have no faith. I completely feel you, Lorenzo. I have no faith in us stopping Virginia. I'm trying. Look, the offense is able to show glimpses of success this year. And we've been able to put up a few points here and there. I would love to see FSU's defense at least finally show up for one game and play a complete game. That's where I'm at with it. Right, because second half, we already know this offense isn't going to do anything. Absolutely. Yep, Virginia this weekend. Eventful week. And again, I keep talking about it, man. We are in a time capsule. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. are going to fight this weekend. If you're watching me long enough, man, I love boxing. So I'm going to be tuned into it, but I just find it extremely funny that 2 50-year-olds are about to get it on this weekend. What DC do you go after if we lose to UVA and Duke? Kind of talked about that, Marcus. I don't think we're going to get rid of Fuller, regardless of how the rest of the year plays out. I don't think they have any plans on getting rid of Fuller. Who I would like to... Bro, there's 15 defensive coordinators in the nation right now that I'd take over Adam Fuller. So I can't give you a direct answer. And the big name guys may or may not be realistic. We'll see about that. I'm kind of with you there too, Panama. Like, I know we're not in it for the moral victories, but let's be honest. We haven't even been competitive in our losses, man. We haven't even competed in some of these games. I think Notre Dame maybe was the one game that we kind of competed in, and we just couldn't stop that team. We haven't even been competed. Shout out to Jay Oliver with the donation. Always appreciate it. Shout out to Jay Oliver. But we haven't even been competing, man, in these games. Can we at least compete? Can we not get blown out the door? Can Adam Fuller have one good coach? Exactly, Ardavius. That's what I'm saying. Can we get one good coaching game from Adam Fuller? Just one. Just one. And I'm thinking maybe Virginia could be that game where we just get one good showing from an Adam Fuller defense. Yeah, I know that's coming. Which probably means that some of those, the FSU water polo team might not be a thing no more. But yeah, I did see that. Polk, you and 50 Cuts need to do a show. That would be a good one. I like 50. I like 50 Cuts. I know he's doing his own thing, and I do my thing. If 50 Cut ever wanted to work together, I would not have any issue with that. I he's a cool dude. He's entertaining in some of the stuff he does. I have no issues with 50 Cuts. What is the Vegas line? I don't know. I don't know who's favored in this Virginia game, honestly. I don't know. Roy Jones, it's $49. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. I mean, I pay $49 for a bottle anyway, so I'm going to check it out. Emmett Rice has been playing, but Emmett Rice has been playing great. Emmett Rice has really picked this game up. I think that I'm hearing some rumors that Emmett Rice may come back next year too. I don't know if that's guaranteed. I mean, I think with the way Emmett Rice might close up this year, he might get drafted. I'm not saying high, maybe 4th, 5th round, something like that, but he might get drafted. My question for the remainder of the season is, does this team give up? I've already accepted that we may not win another game. So I don't think we'll give up. I'll say this. Even in, what was the last game we played, guys? The Pitt game? I didn't feel like they gave up in that game. So even in that game, I think it was the Pitt game, if I'm not wrong. I don't think we gave up, though. How did I not cash out? All right. So I don't expect us to give up. Of course, you can never guarantee that. I just want them to be put in position to compete and potentially win the game. That's what I want. Put them in a position to compete. I feel like in that Louisville game, they never even put him in a position to be in that game. Didn't even put him in a position to compete in that game. I think the same thing kind of happened in that Pitt game, but I thought they played hard in some of these games. I came into the chat late. How do you guys feel about Norvell's response to Clownbo? Look, Norvell he took the high road. I expected him to take that road. If you've listened to any of Norvell's interviews, I didn't really expect him to come out. He took some digs here or there, but nothing too crazy. Look, he took the high road. He's not a clown like Bo Swinney. I let the national media, ESPN, they've dug into Clownbo all they need to. Would I like to hear Norvell just cuss him out or something? Yeah, sure. I would love to hear it. It's not going to happen, but I think Norvell handled it about as professionally as you could. Clownbo's the one here running around crying about a game against a 2-6 team as if, Virginia is a 10-point favorite. NC State, they didn't give up. There's a couple games I've watched. I didn't feel like they gave up. I just didn't feel like they were given a chance to even be in the game, Or what? That was NC State was the last game. I'm losing track of when these games are. I'm absolutely losing track of when these games are. And then after that, we got Duke. And maybe we'll close the season off against Clemson if they want to put their money where their mouth is and come play a team that they claim is running. Just the notion of that is so ridiculous. And again, there are FSU fans who believe that we were scared to play that game. I can't vibe with you guys. Told you, man. Them type of guys, man, I'm starting getting rid of y'all. How in the hell would FSU care about being blown out when FSU has been blown out the last 3 years against Clemson? What was the score last year? Or what was the score the year before that? And all of a sudden, FSU was scared to get blown out against Clemson that they had to quit? Come on, man. You guys sound ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that FSU needs all the ticket sales they can get. And they had to refund 17,000 tickets. And I don't think FSU wanted to do that with the state of just college sports in general. Now, FSU's not the only team cutting back on the budget. There's a lot of colleges that can't afford to play all the sports that they need to play because teams aren't able to bring in the stadiums and pack the stadiums like they normally are and get all that revenue. So come on, guys. We got to stop that. Bro, I be forgetting about all these games. Like, when did we play? Was it NC State the game we played last? I be forgetting about these games. Does it hurt Clemson season if they don't play us? Is that why they could be mad? I don't think so. If they win out, I don't see how it hurts them. Because again, they beat Miami head to head. So it's going to come down to and that's assuming Miami wins out. If we assume Miami wins the rest of their games and Clemson wins the rest of their games, even without the Florida State game, well, shit, they still got the head-to-head against Miami. They're still going to play in the ACC championship. If they beat Notre Dame, then they're still going to be in the playoffs. So how does the not playing Florida State hurt Clemson? It doesn't. It doesn't. And Tyler says he hopes so. I mean, I would love to see it too, but I don't see how it hurts. I can't see how it hurts. They're gonna make the playoffs. Whoever wins the ACC is gonna be in the playoffs, whether that's Notre Dame or Clemson. So they're gonna make the playoffs. The only team that might have an outside side of making the playoffs would be Miami.
Mommy wants you to come taste something for her.
Tell her wait. The only team that would have an outside shot at the playoff would be Miami, because if you look at the teams Miami has played, Miami has not played one good. Miami has a 1-loss record, but all the teams they played, are there any good team? Maybe NC State probably the best win they have on their record. So Miami would have an outside shot looking in, because Miami hasn't beat any ranked opponents. I mean, Louisville was ranked at the time, and now you see Louisville's a 2-win team or whatever they are, 2 or 3-win team right now. So again, Miami doesn't have any big wins. So if Miami won out and actually won the ACC, I think they would have a long shot of making the playoff. But if Clemson or Notre Dame win, they're going to be in the playoff. What do you think of the college playoff rankings? I really didn't pay attention to them, to be all that honest with you. A 40-point win would look good on Dabo's resume for the playoffs. That's all this is about. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. And he's going to get in the playoff regardless, because no one's going to keep Clemson out of the playoff. Look at the playoffs. I didn't look at the playoff rankings. But Bama, Florida, or Texas A&M, I don't know how that's going to work there. But Bama, Ohio State, let's say Florida, and Clemson is probably, again, I didn't look at the rankings. I didn't really care to peep that. I want to see Cincinnati in just to say they can get destroyed by a group of 5. I don't know. Those group of 5 schools, man, if this was the year to do it, this would be the year, because me personally, I don't even think that the Big 10 or the Pac-12 schools deserve to make the playoffs just on the amount of games. Why does everybody else have to play 10, 11 games? You only get to play 6, 7, or 8, however many that is, and you get allowed to be in the playoff. To me, the Big 10, the Pac-12, they shouldn't even qualify for the playoff, in my opinion. If this would be the year to do it, I would like to see Cincinnati get a shot. Why not give them a shot? Clemson number 3 in the rankings. See? So they're going to make the playoff anyway. You beat Notre Dame. What is Notre Dame 2? So what is it? Clemson 3, Notre Dame 2, Bama 1, and 4. If I had to guess right now, 4 is probably Ohio State. And again, I didn't even look at the rankings. No. Talk about the Big 10. Somebody want to explain to me how Penn State... This is something I wanted to touch on, and let's touch on this for a little bit. Where's the Michigan article? You know how they just recently did an article on Florida State and the fall of Florida State football? Where's the Michigan article? Where's the Penn State article? Michigan. And one thing about Florida State has a brand. Now listen, I ain't used this excuse all year, so I'm not using it as one now, but I'm going to give you this as perspective. FSU has a first-year head coach, brand new coaching staff, no fall camp. Well, we had a fall camp, no really summer activities, no spring football. And yet, here we are talking about the fall of Florida State football. Michigan has a tenured coach in Jim Harbaugh, a program that should know what they're doing, whether they have a fall camp or spring camp or not. Everything in Michigan should be established, and they are garbage. Where's their article? Penn State hasn't won a game. James Franklin has been there for years. Where's their article? FSU hasn't been good for 2-3 years, but these other schools have been solid programs for the last few years. Penn State more so than Michigan, and people are just sleeping on those programs like, oh, no big deal. But let's talk about Florida State. But those programs, they're worse. Those programs are worse than us right now. Who's the best team in college ball? I think Alabama's the best team in college football this year. I don't really know who else you could put up there. I mean, just from an offensive standpoint, only offense that really compares to Bama's offense, I think, is Florida's. I think Florida has a legit offense as well. I don't think Florida has the defense that Bama has. So I would say Bama's probably the most complete team. I think if we got to see more of Ohio State would be up there. The problem is, again, I can't. Ohio State shouldn't be allowed to be in the playoff with only playing 7 or 8 games where everybody else had to play 10 or 11. And you could say that, 2 games isn't a big deal, but it really is, actually. It kind of is. But Penn State and Michigan, man, they're worse off right now than Florida State, and they didn't have to go through the transition that Florida State has gone through. So what's their excuse? I would love to know what the excuse is for Penn State and Michigan. I don't disagree with you there. Again, if you look at Miami's resume, it's actually not very good at all. They've beaten a bunch of 2-3 win teams. And I know people don't want to hear it. Miami fans are going to want to hear that, but let's be honest. If you look at their resume, they got a win over us in Louisville. NC State's probably their best win. What is Virginia? A 4-win team or something like that? What is Pitt? 4 or 5 win team? And a UAB team. That's their resume. That's legit their resume. Ohio State is second best. I feel you. Like I said, with more, I think Ohio State's up there. I can't justify. I just don't think they should be allowed in based on the amount of games played. UF can't run the ball like Bama either. Off topic, but do you have an NFL squad? The Buccaneers, but I also just follow Florida State players. So the Vikings aren't really that good. They're not terrible, but I watch them because I watch Dalvin Cook every chance I get. I watch the Rams because I watch Jalen Ramsey every chance I get. But if I had to pick one squad, I'd go with the Bucs. For real, Penn State is worse than we are. And Michigan. But yeah, absolutely, man. No one's talking about it, though. We all know Penn State would beat us. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the toilet bowl, Penn State versus Florida State. Because I'm not too sure. No, I don't care what anybody tells you. I'm not saying Lawrence won't be a better professional football player. He might be, but his college career doesn't stack up. Again, people tend to forget Jameis went undefeated in college until the last game of his career. Well, Jameis won 20-something. Florida State won 20-something plus straight games. Where's Trevor Lawrence's Heisman? Where's, come on, man. I think he may be a better pro prospect. But people sleep on Jameis Winston's entire college football career. Winning 20-some-odd games straight. Heisman Trophy. National champion. I mean, Jesus. Game-winning drive for a national championship at that. Didn't lose until his last game of his career. Like right here, 28-1. See, Jameis Winston didn't lose to Pitt or Syracuse. Jameis Winston beat the teams he was supposed to beat. And the Oregon game had a lot more to do with some other stuff than just Jameis Winston. If you watch that game back, Trevor Lawrence has lost to inferior competition. Period. That's why he ain't better than me. Do you take anything? You want to take the Heisman out of the window? We can take the Heisman out. Heisman trophy's kind of biased, anyways. Got it. You want to take the Heisman out? We can take the Heisman out. They both have national championships, so we can call that even. Jameis Winston didn't lose to an inferior team. You can say Oregon is inferior, but Oregon went on to play for a national championship. They had their own Heisman winner, Marcus Mariota. That Oregon team was more legit than the teams that Trevor Lawrence has lost to. Other than that LSU team, which we know was legit. But didn't Trevor Lawrence lose to a Syracuse or a Pitt? One of those teams. Trevor Lawrence lost that game. Jameis was the best college quarterback I ever saw, and I was shocked he didn't pan out in the pros. Jameis didn't. His team did. I don't know what you're trying to say, John. The fact is, Jameis didn't lose to any of those teams, any inferior competition. Period. Jameis wasn't playing against bum teams like how Lawrence is playing right now. Jameis was just clutch. People wanted James Franklin, but hell, look at exactly, Brandon. I was kind of on the bandwagon of James Franklin. I wouldn't have been mad with that hire, but I don't know what's going on over there at Penn State. Yeah, Dalvin played a big part in FSU losing to Oregon. Fumbles. Yep. Cam Akers scored his first TD. Yes, he did. The Oregon team was definitely stacked. Team game, not just Jameis. Well, then we could say the same for Trevor Lawrence. If it's a team game and not just Jameis, I got you. But last time I checked, nobody says the Patriots are the GOAT franchise because they say Tom Brady's the GOAT quarterback because of the rings he's got. Joe Montana was considered a GOAT before that because of the rings he's got. The quarterback, let's not pretend like the quarterback doesn't get a lot more blame than he deserves and a lot more praise than he sometimes deserves. Trevor Lawrence has lost to inferior competition, period. Jameis never did. Just didn't. He only lost to LSU. Watson lost. Okay, so it's Watson who lost to Pitt. Okay, makes sense. Kelly Bryant lost to Syracuse. Is he? Did he? I thought Kelly Bryant had left the program by that time. So maybe I'm wrong there. Cam will have a solid career. I don't know if he's all pro caliber. True. I don't know if I watch Akers in the pros, and yeah, he doesn't look like he is all pro caliber, but a solid career. Jameis' pro career is far from over. He's only 26. He's slimmed up and all. He's going to take over New Orleans when Breeze retired. This is just what he needed to be behind. He never had a lot. He never had a lot in Tampa, man, which is one of the reasons why I'm so iffy on if I like to even root for the Bucs. Because during Jameis' tenure with the Bucs, it's like they put everything on Jameis' shoulders. They didn't give him any defense to work with, no running game to work with. Oh, and the offensive line was in shambles for a majority of Jameis' tenure there in Tampa. Now, all of a sudden, they get Brady. They shore up that O-line. The defense, all of a sudden, shore up the defense. The man got so many weapons to throw through. Talking about Tom Brady. Dude's got Mike Evans, A.B., Gronk, Chris Godwin. Jesus Christ. They gave Tom Brady everything to work with. And I feel like for Jameis, they just didn't do none of that. Rashad Green was one of the better receivers in FSU history. Some people say he's the best receiver in FSU history. So what is Trevor Lawrence? He's a junior. So his freshman year, they won the national championship, right? That freshman year, if I'm not mistaken. They won a natty. His sophomore year which would have been last year, they lose to LSU. So he didn't play this year. So I can't say he lost to Notre Dame because he didn't play. So we'll see. We'll see what else he has to do. But, you know, if you want to talk about teams, I mean, those Clemson teams have been fairly stacked as well. Shaw is raw, baby. Kenny Shaw was definitely, if you needed to move the chains, you can guarantee Kenny Shaw was going to get separation and get where he needed to be. Absolutely. But we can talk about that 2013 team all day. All across the board. Every position. From Kenny Shaw to James. Kenny Shaw to Kevin Benjamin. Rashard Green, that three-headed monster. Then you still had Nick O'Leary at tight end, running over Clemson players, making Clownbo look like a fool. I remember, man, that play got me so hyped when I watched it. It was already amazing that FSU went into Clemson that year and just completely blew the doors off. But when Nick O'Leary ran that Clemson DB over, man, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was so hyped about that. Kenny Trill's in the building. The greatest FSU team has to be the 2013 team. And the only one I think you would 1993 is a special team too. The 99 team is the only team to go wire to wire. So they started off number one, finished number one. FSU's got some. It's a tough call. That is a tough call, man. No, both were like only 6 foot. Kelvin Benjamin, he was the physical freak. He was the physical freak. And somebody else who was a athletic freak too is Carlos Williams, man. Dude was nasty. But yeah, man, if I had to say the best, it's a tough question, actually. Off the bat, you want to say the 2013 team. Just because of the way it dominated the way it blew teams out, having kids play hangman and having kids play tic-tac-toe on the sideline during the game. All that stuff is cool. But you can't sleep on that 99 team. I mean, that 99 team went wire to wire number one. You can't just discount that at a time when, you know, Florida and Miami were decent, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. You just can't discredit that 99 team. Tough, though. And the 99 team had my favorite player on it, so maybe I'm a little partial to that team. Oh, let me show him. Oh, yeah. It had that guy. So maybe I'm a little partial to the 99 team. Bro, 2013 is a top 5 college football team all time to me. A long time with LSU, Miami, USC, etc. I feel you. Bro, I've talked about so much. Right now, yeah, I'm just answering questions. I think right now we talk about 2013 team, but Ardavius says, whatever happened to Devontae Phillips? I remember Devontae Phillips. I think he ended up getting let go off the team or something like that. He was supposed to be a solid wide receiver, never really panned out. He also ran on he sure did. Wilder Jr. was a beast. That team was really stacked. It really was stacked. People forget Clemson went to the Orange Bowl and won against Ohio State. I mean, people forget that Clemson beat Georgia earlier that year too. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like all that talk about how Florida State, because there's talk that the 2013 team didn't play anybody and that Alabama would have beat us because we really did. Clemson beat Georgia, beat Ohio State in the same year, and they didn't even belong on the same field as us. Oh, Vince Williams is a beast at linebacker for Pittsburgh. Absolutely. Cam McDonald could be another productive tight end like Ryan Izzo. P-Dub, baby. Damn right. Listen, anytime somebody tells me Reggie Bush is the best college player they've ever seen, I tell you to go watch. This did everything Reggie Bush did before Reggie Bush did it. If anything, Reggie Bush modeled his game after number 9. Kickoff returns, punt returns, catching the ball, hell, even running the ball out in the backfield. Peter Warrick did all of that. He said, after 2013, what was the loss that you realized we weren't elite anymore? If I'm honest with you, the loss that really said what's happening was the Chick-fil-A loss against Houston. That was the loss where I said, hold on a second. That loss I was not happy with. Not in the league no more. We know that. Ate itself out the league. Best no in the NFL right now. Well, it's between two guys, Dalvin and Jalen. You pick your poison. You pick your poison there. I mean, Dalvin's having his best year, but Jalen Ramsey is still considered, in my opinion, the best corner in the league. Dalvin or Jalen have to be. That's only two I think you could probably debate. I mean, Brian Burns is on his way. Let's not sleep on Brian Burns. I mean, Joyner's still playing at a good level. And some of these other guys, they hurt themselves. Telvin Smith ruined his career. Like, a lot of guys were having really good careers and just ruined them. Clemson beat OSU on a blown call. I remember that shit, man. The Clemson receiver fumbled. It was an incompletion. 2013 is the best team ever, in my opinion. Three-headed running back room. Yep. Three-headed running back room. Three-headed wide receiver room. Monster tight end. Of course, that man back there at quarterback. O-line, best in the country. And they ain't even got to the defensive side of the ball yet. If we're going to do it then, do it big then. I would say the game that we lost to Georgia Tech when they ran the block kickback for me. I feel you. I just feel like that Houston game rubbed me really the wrong way. True. Absolutely right. We freaking played sorry ass. I don't even remember dude's name now. Never lived up to nothing. Man, what was his name? Somebody tell me his name. I know. Y'all know who I'm talking about. What was his name? I can't remember his name. It wasn't Sean McGuire, because I personally felt like if another spot where I think FSU really messed up or Jimbo made a mistake, we should have never got Everett Golson in the transfer portal. Should have never did that. They should have just let Sean McGuire play from the jump. I firmly believe that had we played Sean McGuire from the jump, I think that would have been a more cohesive and better football team than we had with Everett Golson. That team could have did a lot better than that team lived up to being or whatever. Granted, Sean McGuire was able to beat Clemson. That's not the same year though. I just think Sean McGuire should have been the guy. I never had a problem with Schmag. I thought Schmag got a raw deal and he should have had more. He should have played over Everett Golson. Who am I thinking about, man? Who was that sorry ass bastard that we had? And for the life of me, I can't think of that dude. It's Jalen. Love the Alvin, but it's Jalen. I think, again, you can pick. But Jalen, and can't wait for Durden to finally get back healthy because he's going to be right back in that conversation. It's not an opinion. He's the only DB that's in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year right now. It's just him and Aaron Donald. I try to keep it fair. You know me, I'm all biased. I say Jalen all day, but people still like to talk about Stephen Gilmore and a few other guys. But, DBU over here. 2201 Canes team best ever by far. 17 first rounders were on that team. I feel you, John Shields. I'm not going to deny you what them 2001 Canes were. I'm not going to deny you that. So I feel you. Jimbo was so good at finding talent and turned a safety into a running back. Yep. I agree. JJ Constantino, that sorry son of a bitch. It was both Sean McGuire got injured in that game, but returned. Let's be honest, Pope. 2016 Cook had to run that got called back. Talk about the Clemson game. Absolutely. 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 I agree with this too. I said this a while back. When Jimbo got out of his when Jimbo won, when Jimbo finally got over the hump and they won that natty, I think Jimbo thought he was Nick Saban. And all that scouting, because again, if you just go look at that 2013 team, it had some legit 5-stars on there. Don't get me wrong. But your starting left tackle was a 2-star. Matter of fact, that majority of that offensive line was a patched up offensive line that turned out extremely good. Cam Irvin was a 2-star. Trey Jackson and Jose Matheus were not. Off the top of my head, I don't know what star rankings they were. They were not highly recruited guys. Brian Stork, your center, was a 2-star tight end coming out of high school. The only 4-star on that offensive line was Bobby Hart. He was probably the worst offensive lineman on that O-line. That's just on the old offensive line. Telvin Smith was a 3-star. Terrence Brooks was a 3-star. That's your starting linebacker, your starting safety. You feel me? So he was a master scouter and evaluator of talent early on. And when he won, he got lazy, and the rest is kind of history. Peter Work was a beast in that Virginia Tech game. Absolutely dominated it. And you want to talk about beasts? Go watch Peter Work against Clemson and watch all 200 of his receiving yards. You could argue from 2010 on, FSU has been running back you, if we're being honest. I'm not saying throughout its history, but from 2010 and maybe even earlier, because look at the running backs that came through Florida State that's gone and been not only in the NFL, but been productive NFL players. Chris Thompson, Devontae Freeman was turned into a Pro Bowl, all-pro running back before injuries got him. Of course, you got Dalvin Cook. Carlos Williams had a great rookie year as a running back, and then again, worked his way out of the league, or didn't work his way out, you know what I mean? Like, ruined himself. I don't think James Wilder ever got a chance. I just named 4 there. Of course, Cam Akers. Did I name Dalvin already? I think I didn't even name Dalvin yet. So FSU's had a bunch of running backs, man. Isn't it nice to talk about these great FSU players in the NFL? The good old days, Kenny. The good old days. Why Clemson acting like bitches if we're going to play them the week before the ACC championship? Could it be that Clemson wanted 2 weeks to prepare for Notre Dame? Probably. I think it started when Alabama hurt Francois on the first play of the year. FSU never. I think some of the downfall though was kind of before that, Jose. That's just me though. That's just me. Derek Brooks, the best to ever play on defense. Hey, I'm all for it. It's debatable though. I don't think Derek Brooks was the best linebacker to ever play at Florida State. I think that belongs to Marvin Shade Tree Jones. Derek Brooks obviously had the better football career in total, being a Hall of Fame linebacker and a Super Bowl winner. But Marvin Jones had to deal with injuries when it came to the pros. But I think if you just talk about their college careers, I think Marvin Jones is the best linebacker to ever play at Florida State. That too, Jimbo completely mishandled the quarterback room after Jameis. Completely mishandled it. That's the misconception, John. And I'm not saying that some of that's not true, but you keep listening to ESPN if you want to. When Jimbo got there, well, first of all, Jimbo had already been the offensive coordinator. People act like Florida State wasn't spending money. when Jimbo became the head coach, guess what? Jimbo got the indoor practice facility. Yeah, he got that. In the indoor field, Jimbo got that. And they completely remodeled and revamped the entire football locker room. They spent a lot of money on FSU's facilities. Sorry that we can't give you a raise and continue to get the facilities. Jimbo had a lot more going on besides the money part of it. I get what Jimbo wanted. I understand that Jimbo definitely wanted that football only facility. I understand it. The problem was never that FSU wasn't going to do a football only facility. The problem was that FSU was going to upgrade the facilities, but it wasn't going to be a football only facility. It was going to be a sports complex, like a sports facility. Jimbo wanted stuff just for the football team. That's where the disconnect was. Not that they weren't going to upgrade anything. That's where the disconnect was. Not to mention they had completely upgraded everything anyway. So, plus Jimbo had a lot of stuff in his personal life going on. Let's not forget that. I'm saying on offense, the past 5+ years, we really have had nothing consistent on offense other than running back. No, you're absolutely right, Tyler. And I was just equating that to some of the guys in the NFL. Like, it's shown with guys in the league that the running back position is been solid. Jimbo will never beat Saban or Kirby. He's only top 5 right now because we're in a COVID year. That I think he could beat Kirby because I don't think Kirby Smart is anything special. I think Jimbo is a better football coach than Kirby Smart. Jimbo got lazy with FSU because administration was bullshitting. Jimbo catching COVID rankings. We never recover from Winston heading to the NFL. I do think Jameis left a year early than Jimbo wanted him to. And he obviously wasn't prepared for that. I do think there's some truth to that, Lorenzo. Clemson giving Dabo everything FSU needs to keep up. Eventually, he's going to beat Saban. But yeah, this was a good Thanksgiving Eve show. I'm getting hungry, even though I'm going to starve myself until tomorrow. But I'm probably going to go sneak some samples. So I'm going to cut it short here. I'm going to answer this question. He said, who's the next great FSU running back? Is there one on the team right now? I think Webb is solid. If there's one that I think is going to be great, it's Lawrence Toafili because I think Lawrence Toafili has all the attributes to be great. And when I'm talking attributes, I'm thinking he's got elite vision, in my opinion, and some great footwork. I don't know if he has the great speed, but again, when I watch Toafili run, he reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. He's just not as big. So there's my answer to that. But thanks everybody who tuned in. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, please hit the like button on your way out. Please share the content as always. Please share the content as always. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Rose, you showed up late, man. I'm headed out, but yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, share. We had a fun conversation here on this Thanksgiving Eve over here on 863 Seminole TV with your host POLK. As always, stay classy, Seminoles. I'm gonna cut it short here, but I will see you guys again Saturday. Oh no, Friday night. I'm gonna do something Friday night. Even if T2Y, shout out to T2Y, even if T2Y is busy, because I do know that's Black Friday. You know, with the holiday weekend, people might be busy, but we might do something Friday night. Definitely going to be on here Saturday. And thanks everybody who came in. Stay classy, Seminoles. John Shields and the rest of my Hurricane fans. Y'all boys stay crabby. And we OUTCHEA. You guys have a great Thanksgiving and you guys stay safe and enjoy your families, man. Enjoy your families and stay safe. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm OUTCHEA, man.